Hey all, Brian S. Pratt here. So, something new has happened in my life. But before I get to that, if you like my stories, if you like what I write, please like the video, help spread it. Subscribe if you want to hear more. And if you want to be notified, hit the bell, top bell, and then you'll be notified at all future things I post. Anyway, so something new's happened in my life. But before that happened, writing sometimes gets hard for me. Because when you're sitting there writing, it's quiet, and whatever is on your mind is on your mind. You try to put it aside, and sometimes you just can't. And some days it's really hard for me to get started writing. Sometimes I think I'm going through a depression, but I don't think that's quite it. I'm not quite sure what it is. And it really bothers me. Maybe the fact that it bothers me is a problem. But anyway, my daughter got married. My oldest daughter, Brianna, she got married. The one that I talk about on here all the time. She got married to this nice guy. I like him so far. They always start out good, so we'll just see how well it continues going forward. But right now, he's an okay guy. Treats her well. She has no complaints about it. A lot of times when your daughter dates a guy, you hear a lot of complaints. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Nothing really major bad so far with this kid. So I think she's happy. I wasn't invited to the wedding. Nobody was. That kind of bothered me. I always wanted to dance with my daughter at her wedding. You see, years ago, I used to take my kids out to the VFW, and we would hear this country band, and there was dancing there, right? She would never dance with me. My other daughter would dance with me. My boy would get out there and dance with the old ladies. He enjoyed that. But my oldest daughter, I've never danced with her. And I figured my one opportunity would be to dance with her at her wedding. Well, nobody was invited to the wedding. They went to some mountaintop, exchanged vows, and they were married. Which for her and the way she is, was the perfect wedding for her. And I wanted nothing but happiness. However, for me, opportunity missed. Will never come back again. And that bothers me. I didn't get to walk her down the aisle. That bothers me too. I'm sure she'll be upset to hear that, but that's just the way it is. Can't go back, gotta go forward. And that's been on my mind the last couple weeks when I'm sitting there trying to write. Lost opportunities. The fact that age is weighing in on me. I'm 58. How many more years do I have to write? So that all bothers me. But then another thought occurs to me too. See, my daughter's going through nursing school, and she'll be out in a year and a half, 2 years. After that, she'll probably have a kid. They're going to start their family. So I'll have a grandkid. I'm kind of excited about that. That's something to look forward to. Now, with grandkids come opportunities, but if you ain't got money, a lot of the number of opportunities go down. So it's really come home to me that when I'm sitting down to write, I have to quiet the voices. I have to quiet all the thoughts that stop me from writing, all the inclinations that keep me from making excuses why I can't write, and write. So I am Relic of the Ancients is coming along very well, actually, very well. And I really think I'm going to have it done in August. If I don't have it done in August, I'm at least sending chapters out, and I'm doing the final tunes. I'm down to pretty much the end of it, and I think it's a pretty good book, actually. It won't be as long as the last one. I mean, the last one took me 10 years, right? But this one here took me less time, so it won't be quite as long. But it'll still be lengthy, and it should be interesting. And I mean, the first several chapters I put at the end of the other book. If you haven't, when you read the copy of Dark Church of Salvation ebook, and you got to the end of it, and that was the end, check it again, because both Amazon and Smashwords, their copies both have the first 3 chapters of the Relic of the Ancients. In the books, they're currently untitled, but it's Relic of the Ancients. If you go on my Facebook page, you can actually see it, artwork for the cover. And so, because at the end of Dark Shores, I kind of left it up in the air, and I really didn't want to do that again. I did that for The Unsuspecting Mage, and because when I originally wrote it, I thought if I had a cliffhanger, people would they would have to know what happened, so they would buy the next book, right? You get the first book for free, cliffhanger. I gotta buy the next book to find out what happened, right? Because these characters are so intriguing, and maybe that's happened with a lot of people. I don't know, but I've always felt guilty about doing that. I don't want to manipulate people to get them to buy the next book. I want them to buy the next book because they like the stories and they want to buy the next book. So I've really tried after that to never do another cliffhanger. And so when this one ended, I mean, it's a major cliffhanger if I didn't add those next 3 chapters. You don't know what's going on or anything, right? Who survived or nothing. So I added those 3 chapters so people would know, would have a conclusion, but yet know it continues, and kind of know how it continues. And yeah, I'm doing some news. I've explored something new in this one, and we'll see how that works out. I mean, James is progressing as a mage. You know, he got his 2 apprentices, right? Azan and Hikai. In Travail. Oh, I guess I should say spoilers, right? Well, actually, anytime I talk about my books, assume there's going to be spoilers. And if you haven't read all my books, there could be a spoiler. But anyway, so he got those 2 apprentices. He didn't want them, but come to find out, they're not too bad, and he's kind of gotten used to them. And yeah, they're actually pretty good. They're actually pretty good. And a lot of things are going on in this book. There's just so many moving parts. It's the most moving parts I've ever had in a single book, and I don't like it. But they're all interesting, and they're all integral to the story, so they're there. But the next book's gonna have a lot fewer moving parts. Let me tell you, it's hard. Okay, one of my main problems is, okay, we have, my books always tend to end in a battle. So assume there's a battle at the end of the book, right? Well, if there's, say, 7 moving parts, they all have to be timed to get to this point in exactly the right moment, in exactly the right style, and have it all make perfect sense. That is not as easy as it would seem. When you're reading the story, it flows well because I just agonized on it and I worked on it, and yeah. But it's coming along well. I've got 75% plus of the book set done. It's good, and then I got a lot more that I'm still working on, fine-tuning the different parts to get them in the right place at the right time. And then sometimes things occur that I add. Now the things I add isn't always a bad thing. Not always a bad thing. The fire was an afterthought. The fire's effect on Maiko was an afterthought. Was something I added later. Yeah, stuff like that. So sometimes a delay is not a bad thing because it adds something really cool that going forward is everybody likes. The only thing I don't think people really liked was Dave. I didn't care for that either. I spoke on Dave several times, and Dave, man, I felt guilty of how it ended. I really didn't want it to. I had no intention of it going that way. He was going to become a character going forward. But when I wrote the story, as I'm writing it, it just came out that way. And I couldn't stop. I couldn't change it because the dynamic was totally thrown off with Dave. And so everybody hated him. So he had to go. But because Dave died the way he did, it set the basis for something that I don't think a lot of people picked up on. Maybe everybody did. But there's something about that really, I mean, in that moment, it doesn't talk about it. But because of that moment, later on, I think about it. Now I got it set. I touched on it in Light in the Barren Lands, and going forward, it becomes more pronounced. But without Dave, and how Dave ended, that never would have happened. So, poor Dave. It worked out though. It did. The story was fine, and it set up a really good Light in the Barren Lands. Wouldn't have been Light in the Barren Lands if Dave hadn't ended the way it would have. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw this out there to let you know that I know I've been gone for a while. I'm going to try to get my stories going again. That I just uploaded one of those. And for those who don't know, those stories, they're talking, not all of them. Some of them have nothing to do with the Morcyth Saga or Travella Darkmage, but some of them do. Some of them are telling backstories that my books don't touch on, but are there. So, yeah. They're worth listening to. Anyway, that's really all I gotta say. My daughter got married. I didn't get to dance with her. Possibly there is a grandchild in my future. Be my first one. Looking forward to it. I'm living vicariously through my girlfriend's 3-year-old granddaughter. Loving her to death. I told my granddaughter that she's old enough now to go wallow in the mud pits, and of course she's just adamantly against her granddaughter getting dirty. My kids were dirty. I grew up with mud pies, So, yeah, if I'm ever watching Valerie, shh, don't tell her. We're gonna get dirty. We're gonna get out and have some fun. If we come home just coated in dirt and mud and brambles, we'll hose each other off and we'll remember how much fun we had, right? Anyway, y'all take care, and yeah, I'm hoping. I will be having more stick-to-itness to writing. I'm not going to let the silence, the quiet, weigh me down. I'm going to finish this book, finish the other one. Now, when I finish Relic, the next one will be Tomb of the Necromancers, which is the next Jacobs and Relic book, The Adventurers Guild. Then after that will be the next Scar and Potbelly book. Then I'll go to the final book of Travella Darkmage. But Relic, Jacobs and Relic, and Scar and Potbelly, those 2 books, they're almost half done. Because when I'm stuck on this book, I write the other books. And I've been writing on them for a while now. So just let you know what's going on. I better shut this down before it takes too long to upload. Y'all take care.